Dave Ramsey, you're wrong, wrong, wrong. I generally admire Dave Ramsey and his approach to personal finances. In fact, I would say that he's right more than 90% of the time, which is a pretty solid rate of getting things right. You know, it's an A after all. However, I recently watched a video of his from his radio show, and I found myself strongly disagreeing. Mostly, my disagreement came from the fact that I do what Jim, the person asking the question, said he does. The URL of the video is in the description if you want to check it out. Now, here's the basic content of the question. Jim asked, what could be wrong with using a credit card when you pay it off every month, never incur any interest, and gain considerable rewards from using the card? After reading the question, this was an emailed question rather than a call, Ramsey goes into his standard spiel. Well, several different studies confirm that when you pay for things with plastic, you spend more than when you pay with cash. You see, this is where Dave Ramsey is wrong, wrong, wrong. He says you spend more, according to those several studies. In reality, what those several studies will show is that in aggregate, that is, as a group, people will tend to spend more. If you have 100 people studied, then the majority of them, perhaps 90%, will wind up overspending with the plastic. That's serious, if you happen to be in the 90%. But if you're in that 10% who don't overspend, it's a big nothing burger. What Ramsey is doing here is committing a logical fallacy. It's the division fallacy, in which someone ascribes the qualities of a group to each individual within the group. Now, let me give you a couple of examples. Your car is a Honda, so it must be a good car because Honda makes good cars. I would generally agree that Honda does make good cars, but I'm confident that they've turned out a clunker or two over the years. Here's another one. Dogs are friendly animals, so that snarling, mouth-foaming beast in front of me is really just showing its friendliness in a strange way. As a group, dogs are pretty friendly. But are there some of them that aren't? Of course. This leads me to Ramsey's fallacy. Credit card holders, as a group, will spend more money with their card than they will with cash. Therefore, every individual credit card holder will spend more with plastic than with cash. Sure, 99 out of 100 of them might do that, but this leaves the well-disciplined 1 out of 100. Now, it's not that Ramsey's advice isn't worth our attention, but he was, especially in this segment, so strident about the whole thing that it seemed excessive. He starts laying into the emailer. Jim, you think you've got this all figured out by running everything through Visa because I'm sure you're smarter than Chase. Yeah, apparently Chase knows that 100% of their cardholders will go into an uncontrollable spending frenzy when using the card rather than cash. But of course, Chase doesn't believe any such thing. They don't need 100% of their customers to behave like compulsive gamblers snowed into a casino. They just need a bunch of them to do it. Yet here's Dave Ramsey using the division fallacy and basically saying that Jim is an idiot who is probably broke and just doesn't know it. That video bothered me because I'm a lot like Jim. I have a Costco Visa card for carefully designated things that earn 2 or more % in rewards for every dollar spent. That's gasoline, Costco purchases, and travel expenses. Over the last 3 years, I've averaged better than $400 every February in cash back. And I would challenge Dave Ramsey to find anywhere where I've bought more gas, traveled more, or bought extra things at Costco because I was using plastic. I just don't do it. You know why? Because I know that around the first of the next month, I'll have to pay the bill. The division fallacy is, like a lot of the logical fallacies, a tempting thing. Think about an application. If you smoke, your doctor might warn you of the risks of smoking. Indeed, smoking increases the risk of lung cancer, among other things. But does every single smoker get lung cancer? Not even close. In fact, only about 10 to 15% get lung cancer. Now, of course, that's not the only bad thing that comes from your tobacco habits, so don't start smoking. But to say, if you smoke, you'll get lung cancer, is a classic use of the division fallacy. Hey, if Dave the Debt Slayer had just said, you know, this sort of thing can work for some people, but you have to be incredibly disciplined and careful, or if he'd have just skipped that question, I'd have no problem with it. Instead, he makes that very broad generalization, pouring the snark on poor, defenseless Jim. And that's why, Dave Ramsey, at least on that day, you were wrong, wrong, wrong. Hey, if you found this valuable, think about subscribing, give me a thumbs up, ring the bell.